My name is Folashade Kadi. For those who would like to be a part of this press briefing, you can watch us live on www.lagosgate.tv. You can follow us on our Twitter account at followLASG. You can also be a fan, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I have the pleasure and privilege the Ministry of Information and Strategy, Mrs. Oluranti Odutola, as she gives up to address us. PS man, you have before. A round of applause for her.
Press briefing is an annual event in Lagos State for the past 16 years. And it shows that up to the last day of any administration, we will still continue to work. And this year is no different. We are giving account of stewardship of what the Ministry of Lands Bureau and all its agencies have done over the past 1 year. It's an agency of government that is very much criticized because people do not really understand that Lagos State, as a mega city with over 10 million citizens living therein, and a small land space that millions of people are competing for, and is the heartbeat of Nigeria, and is a destination that everybody in Nigeria wants to have a share, especially in terms of land allocation. And in that kind of situation, the focus is always on that ministry and all its agencies. But Lagos State government have been so wonderful in putting round pegs in round hole. And over the years, it has been populated by people who are really committed, focused, and passionate about Lagos State and Nigeria. We thank God that they have been able to do their best, but we are not resting on our oars, and they will still continue fighting. We have 2 permanent secretaries who will be talking to us this morning. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Lands Bureau, Mr. Hakeem Muri Okunla, and the permanent secretary Surveyor General, Surveyor General Joseph O. Agbela. They are technocrats of repute. They are versatile in their areas of discipline and administration for excellence. I will have the pleasure of inviting them one by one. The first person will be Mr. Hakeem Muri Okunla, who, as I said earlier on in the first press briefing, whose family had been committed to service, and as one-time president of America said, that there is no greater calling than public service. And that is the greatest joy of rendering service to the people and having the joy that you have contributed your quota, not only in criticizing, but in bringing credible solutions to making life better and comfortable for the citizen. I have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Hakeem Muri Okunla to give the account of the stewardship.
An appreciation that I welcome you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our ever dependable and professional gentlemen of the press, and members and management and staff of Lands Bureau, Office of Surveyor General, and Newtowns Development Authority, to the year 2015 Ministerial Press Briefing in commemoration and celebration of the 8th anniversary of the administration of His Excellency, Mr. Obasanjo Fashola, the Senior Advocate of Nigeria. As it is now the practice on an occasion like this to review our activities for the past year and determine how effectively we have performed in realizing the vision of the administration of the government, as well as meet the expectations of the people that we serve, bearing in mind the prevailing global economic and financial situation. In the spirit of accountability and in line with His Excellency's stance for a responsible and accountable government to the people of Lagos, I am here before you today to present an account of our stewardship in the last 365 days. This year's briefing is particularly significant because, as you are aware, it is the last in the series under this present administration. It thus offers us an opportunity not only to present, assess our activities, performance in the last 365 days, but also to appreciate everyone who has played a role in the story and the success of the Bureau, encompassing Lands Bureau, Office of Surveyor General, and the New Town Development Authority. Let me begin by stating in clear terms that our achievements in this Bureau is an offshoot of the broader vision of His Excellency Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, a man who has redefined leadership and governance in the Nigerian context. He is a man who has, through his remarkable performance as the governor of the Center of Excellence, attained a legendary status in the history of Nigerian governance, and thus becomes an example for his peers and other states in the Federation. It is in line with his articulated visions for the state that the Lands Bureau has become and maintained in the last years this position of the second highest revenue earner in the Lagos State government. Land is a resource desirable and crucial to every living being, the poor, the rich, even the sick, the healthy, and ultimately even the dead. Lands Bureau is thus serving the interest of all. Realizing the importance of land as a resource in the state with regards to the need to manage its use efficiently and to ensure that it plays a major role in the state's internally generated revenue, successive administrations, particularly during the administration of His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the present administration of His Excellency Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, have put in place effective and dynamic reforms to continuously ease the process of Lands Bureau with a view to ensuring that the Bureau keeps its lead in the country as a government ministry committed to adopting modern best practices in order to excel. Distinguished members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I want to unequivocally say that the resolve of the administration of His Excellency Mr. Babatunde Fashola has been to ensure and imbibe the culture of excellence, prompt and efficient service delivery in lands administration and management within the mega city of Lagos, bearing in mind the ever-increasing population. In summary, I make bold to say that the irreversible journey we have embarked upon as a Bureau in dealing with the management of land resources in the state is a commendable one, and we have tried very well thus far in our humble assessment. At this point, I must commend you all for your unrelenting effort in this regard, as you have kept us on our toes to wage a successful war against unwholesome illegal activities and provide feedback and transparent accountabilities. Our financial results, the total revenue that the Bureau was able to generate for the year ending December 31, 2014 was 27,054,031,674 naira 52 kobo only. The revenue performance, which is considerably more than the previous year by about 18.6 billion, was due to transactions on sales of land for industrial development in our free zone. The revenue performance for the year under consideration exceeded the Bureau's budgeted for the period by 165%. It must, however, be emphasized that aside from some major transactions, the revenue from the new schemes being expected during the period under review, as well as property recertification project, could not be realized, and therefore making it difficult for us to generate revenue from those particular sources. However, the revenue of the Bureau will continue to be improved upon the moment these new schemes, property recertification transactions on state land commences. A summary of the revenue generated for the past 4 years is in the table before you. The 2001 have been 13 billion, 2012, 10 billion, 2013, 8.3 billion, and 2014, 27 billion. Resuscitation of moribund schemes. These are schemes that were conceived in previous administrations and carved from the Lagos State Global Acquisition, but have not been allocated or committed. However, those lands have been massively encroached upon by land grabbers and encroachers, or commonly referred to as Omonile, thereby hindering the ease and accessibility for development in these schemes, hence the term moribund. These schemes include Kirikiri Mixed Development, Lagos Northwest Ego, Akwonjo Mixed Development in Akwonjo, Ketu Alakwe Residential Scheme, the Lagos Northwest Ego as well, Kologe Agbara, Oto Awori Jobiti in Ijaniki Balagu Axis, Oro Sheki Residential Scheme, Morocco Government Scheme in Agbara Balagu, Townville Residential Scheme in Isheri Oshun, Ajari Settlement Scheme, Teachers Village of Awuri. The Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Land Matters is saddled with this responsibility to resuscitate these moribund schemes and turn them into revenue-generating areas for Lagos. The resuscitation of these schemes will accrue some benefits, including but not limited to the following. Land will be made available to meet the ever-increasing demand for land allocation in Lagos State, ensure optimum utilization of land resources to achieve development in the state, to create an enabling environment which will prevent squatters and land speculators from encroaching on such land. It will boost the state's revenue generation drive through land allocation and regularization, provision of housing, creation of jobs, security of land, and state assets by bankable documents. One of the giants in all land transactions, it will eliminate delays and corruption by clear basis for assessment, bring cohesion and cooperation amongst agencies. The electronic certificate of occupancy project. As I informed you last year, we commenced the conversion from the yellow paper certificate of occupancy to a more secure and electronic format known as the electronic certificate of occupancy. It should be noted that the change in the state's certificate of occupancy to the electronic certificate of occupancy is a gradual process and does not in any way remove the validity of the existing yellow certificate of occupancy. The ECOFO commenced in January 2014, and as of today, in excess of 2,232 certificates of occupancy have been processed. Excision and resettlement of towns and villages. A continuous effort and process wherein villages and communities that are entitled to the grant of excision after their requests have been verified and confirmed as genuine. Applications are approved for village excision after being forwarded to the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development for approved layouts. This is done in order to prevent the creation of some settlements and inorganic growth in Lagos. In the year under review, a total of 80 villages were excised. I provided a table for the excised villages in the pack before you. In the area of compensation, usually when land is acquired, interests are revoked for overriding public interest or for any other interest. It is the duty of government to compensate families, persons, and communities that have been affected by such revocation, although not without the presentation of necessary documents evidencing their ownership or proving their entitlement to such. In the year 2014, a total amount of 2,864,000,000 naira was paid out as compensation to individuals and communities, and some were given alternative land in lieu of monetary compensation. I provided a breakdown of this in the booklet for back before you as well. The compensation payable in respect of the underlisted, however, still under processing. Ketu Ikorodu Road expansion, a Isala Ikomboro Development Scheme in Lagos Island, Lekki Free Trade Zone Asubu in Ekpe, land behind Ajeromi Fellow General Hospital. Private Estate Developer Schemes. The Private Estate Developer Scheme is one of the public-private participation programs initiated by the administration to solve housing problems in Lagos State. The state has moved from a metropolitan city to a mega city with a growing population of over 20 million people with a limited land area of 3,577 square feet. The government is genuinely concerned about the living conditions of the citizens and has taken steps in solving these problems. Amongst these steps is the availability of land to private individuals, organizations, and bodies who have the financial capability to deliver housing stock to the society. The underlisted are part of the companies that were allocated various parcels of land. I will not go into their names. It's provided on the table before you because it's quite boring. The New Towns and Development Authority, a sister agency to Lands Bureau, is saddled with the responsibility of sourcing for new schemes across the 5 divisions of Lagos State. As part of the efforts to reduce drastically the number of inadequately planned, and uninhabitable quarters across the state, it has continued to gather information to ascertain land areas for proposed schemes throughout these 5 divisions of Lagos. Some new schemes are recently being probed with site reconnaissances, survey and investigations. However, a detailed survey studies and preparation of layouts designs are ongoing in these new schemes, which include, but are not limited to the following: Magotho Mixed Development Scheme in Badagry, Ayetoro Mixed Development Scheme in our Lekki Sub-Region, Ibeju Mixed Development Scheme Extension in Lekki Sub-Region, Okolisa Residential Scheme in Ikorodu. On the one hand, Ibeju Coastal City in the Lekki Sub-Region, Ibeju Industrial Town, CBD Mixed Development Scheme, and Ibeju Mixed Development Scheme are all designed to fully utilize the development potential of the Lekki and Ekpe axis, and the huge government investment on infrastructure in that area. On the other hand, Iragbo Residential Scheme, Erekiti, Iyafin, Magotho, all along the Lagos-Badagry axis, are proposed in anticipation of the 10-lane Lagos-Badagry Expressway, which would open up the axis. Compensation for the expansion of that Lagos-Badagry Expressway has been paid to all communities and individuals affected. Payment is, however, still ongoing for those who have not collected theirs. It may please you to know that the government places emphasis on the concept of a community that you can live, work, and play, which in development term is called mixed development. In all of these new schemes, this is the proposition. Provision of land and our participation in affordable housing initiative. In the administration and quest to speedily reduce the acute shortage of housing stock in Lagos, NTDA was given the additional responsibility of providing low-income housing units across the state to add to our housing stock for the Lagos Homes Ownership Mortgage Scheme project. To achieve this, NTDA's architectural design for Lagos Home Igodo was adopted as the prototype for Lagos Homes project across the state. In addition, NTDA has carved out certain parcels of land in our government schemes for development of affordable housing for the Lagos Homes project, which include the following: Lagos Homes in Igodo, Lagos Homes in Magodo, Lagos Homes in Omole, Lagos Homes in Lekki Scheme 2, and Lagos Homes in Lekki Scheme 1. The 5 schemes mentioned above consist of about 57 blocks of 684 flats intended for the mortgage program. A total of 62 contracts, totaling 19 billion, were awarded in the schemes listed below: Lagos Homes Shangote Phase 1 and 2, Lagos Homes in Mushin, Lagos Homes in Ilupeju, Lagos Homes in Ajara, Badagry, Phase 1. Please be assured that all of the above schemes will be delivered before the end of the third quarter of this year. Governor's consent on deemed grants on private land. In 2012, the state government enacted the Land Use Act Titles Documentation Regulations. This government's proactive step to stop a practice whereby first-class and unscrupulous speculators were presenting forged and backdated documents and receipts for processing of land title documents over the years. This practice by both individual and corporate entities is unwholesome and cannot be, the decision was taken not to allow it to continue. The regulations are a set of regulations passed by the government to chart a new path for transparency and authenticity in our land documentation. For effective implementation, applicants will only purchase receipts by given an opportunity to obtain title documents. Purchasers of private lands were allowed to perfect title to such land with correct receipts and agreements bearing real dates and their land transactions, even where such agreements are not in the proper form, in the usual legal format. However, the window of opportunity has since closed. Instructively, the year under review saw the Bureau processing 100 out of a total number of 800 applications received. Electronic data management system. The procedure of data banking commenced in 2006, and it has recorded tremendous success. Through this system, documents are consistently stored and archived, and the retrieval process is efficient and seamless. The Lagos Lands Registry has accomplished an enviable status in reducing the stress of manual operations in conducting searches and archiving title documents. The EDMS has so far captured and scanned over 31 million pages of documents, which have been archived and stored. Geographic Information System. Our Lagos State Geographic Information System, LAGIS, undertaken by the state government, has transformed survey issues in the state. This, in turn, has translated into a high level of efficient and effective customer service delivery. The following services are now available to members of the public: digital map of the entire state, orthophoto map of the entire state, building shape map of the state, road network of the entire state, finished products and raw products of topography of the entire state, to mention a few. The Bureau is by this medium urging members of the public to be wary as well of fraudulent acts by individuals, families, and communities that engage in indiscriminate sales of government-acquired land in the state. Members of the public are also advised to conduct proper charting and verification of properties before effecting payment for land. In addition, land speculators and land grabbers are advised to desist from selling land that fall under government acquisition or within government schemes. Since March 2013, the Bureau has been open on Saturdays to members of the public to transact government business between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. every Saturday, except and minus the last Saturday of every month for environmental sanitation exercise. However, the response of members of the public to this initiative has been very low. Again, by this medium, I request and inform the general public of our mode of operation and the benefit of patronizing the Bureau during these Saturday service periods. As part of our efforts to improve delivery of our service to our esteemed clients, the Lands Bureau has created a front office desk. This desk is located in the entrance to the Bureau. The basic function is the maintenance of an excellent customer relations while ensuring a high level of professional customer service in managing complaints. Other functions of that desk include taking inquiries, directing prospective clients to the appropriate personnel or offices for respective responses. In conclusion, we thank the Almighty God for His grace and mercies over us, for giving us the wisdom, the vision, and the strength to be able to contribute to the enhancement of living standards for the people of Lagos. On behalf of the entire staff of the Lagos State Lands Bureau family, which includes the Office of the Surveyor General and the New Towns Development Authority, I wish to express our profound gratitude and appreciation to His Excellency Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the Governor of Lagos, for his visionary leadership and strong determination in pursuing beneficial goals in land administration and management in the state. We are mindful of our obligations to offer more value-added services to our highly valued customers and citizenry, and I'm very appreciative on their continued patience and patronage. Let me assure you that we will continue to welcome constructive criticisms, complaints, and commendations as well. In line with our vision to be the platform for efficient and effective land resources management that promotes equitable access and distribution of land, and to positively contribute to the sustainable socio-economic development of Lagos State, we will continue to engage you, the press, as well as members of the public, on ways to achieve this vision. Let me assure you that we will not waive our commitment to sustain human settlement programs, provision of infrastructure on our schemes, such as drainages, water, roads, electricity, etc., under the incoming administration. I would like to specially place on record the immeasurable contributions of members of the management staff, the entire workforce that I have highlighted before, who are great assets to our organization for their sense of commitment, loyalty, and dedication to work. I must also express my sincere appreciation, particularly to the Permanent Secretary, Surveyor General, representing the Office of Surveyor General, Dr. Adeyemi Siba, General Manager, New Towns Development Authority, Ministries of Environment, Physical Planning, Urban Development, and the Lagos State Task Force, the Ministry of Information and Strategy for the publicity they have rendered us, for their various supportive roles in providing useful assistance on issues that needed to be addressed to enable Lands Bureau as a family to move forward. We appreciate the sacrifice you all made on several occasions, both as individuals and entities, towards the actualization of the dreams and plans of the Bureau in particular, Lagos in general. Ultimately, we remain grateful to the gentlemen of the press for always being there as partners in running the wheel of progress for your support. Thank you once again.
His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Permit me to state for the benefit of those who may not be too familiar and too aware with the activities of the Office of the Surveyor General. The primary function of this noble office is to provide survey framework to facilitate the registration of certificates of occupancy under the Land Use Act. The office is charged, among other things, as enumerated by Permanent Secretary Land Bureau, all surveys and mapping matters of Lagos State, survey works within government schemes and layout, survey work for state ministries, departmental agencies, parastatals, and local governments. Provision of grant controls, horizontal and vertical, at various orders, primary, secondary, and others. The cadastral survey for the state government, the local government, and various agencies at Medellin. The boundary survey in conjunction with the Office of Surveyor of the Federation, the land information, storage and retrieval of survey records of all states and private individuals for the benefit of procurement of certificate of occupancy and all other transactions. determination of status on land of sites for ministries and agencies, as well as the local government when they are necessary. Determination of status of site for physical planning and urban development, regularization and development of regularization of land bureau and other land services. The judiciary has not been left out in the terms of litigation cases for Ministry of Justice and High Courts. Charting of survey plans for mortgages, assignments, leases, sublease, and power of attorney. Provision of survey plans for agricultural land holding authority, Ministry of Housing, Water Fund and Infrastructure, Ministry of Works, Commerce, and other Lagos State government agencies. The global trend in surveying and mapping have diversified with the role of surveying in the social engineering field, and as such recognize the profession as a social science. Social science, so in light of this, the office is poised for all affairs of ecological management, infrastructural development, environmental nurturing, and demographical analysis, to mention just a few. The ministerial responsibility is as follows: the provision of survey frameworks to facilitate the registration of taxi or home under the Land Act, the survey and mapping matters for Lagos State, survey works on renovation and acquisition of lands for state uses, survey works within government schemes and layout, land information, survey services to the public, the general public, georeferencing and digitalization of survey plans, and auto photos. Advisory rules in land disputes to all NDAs, the judiciary, local government, the armed forces, and the general public. Administration of staff matters and establishment. Keeping of proper and accurate records of revenue and expenditure. However, the directorates are 6 in number: the Cadastral Directorate, Survey Coordinations and Transactions, Directorate of Survey Records, Control Mapping and Boundary, the Department of Land Information System Support, and System Support Unit, so largest. Directorate of Finance and Admin, and Directors of Accounts. The directorate has been so effective and functioning as they have been empowered to do ever since. I'll go straight to financial reports. I will not bore you because I believe the Land Bureau has already been magnanimous enough to put all these things in the French review. So I will please create your diligence to go straight to the financial report. In the year 2015, the approved budget revenue is 756 million to the Office of the Surveyor General. From January to March this year, the Office of the General has accrued 181 million 4,355 naira 130 kobo, which is 24% of our budgeted figure. The year 2015, by the grace of God, we need more revenue and resources to make us to perform greater, because we have just started the year and I believe it will be better. The main challenges of the office is just the inadequate of staff, but I believe by the grace of God, the state government has approved recently for us to absorb quite the numbers of our staff that have been working for us on a project basis. Recently, in 2014, a new survey zonal office was added to the 9 that we had before, that is the Alimosho Zonal Survey Office, to facilitate the management of land resources to be to the grassroots for the people of Lagos State. In 2013, 78 villages were approved by His Excellency for the the people to benefit on the extension program. All these villages have been surveyed and the survey description has been done, and His Excellency in his wisdom has directed that these villages will be given to the beneficiaries. In 2014, last year, 19 villages were approved. The project is ongoing, and the survey description will be done accordingly. It is heartwarming to state here that the APC government of Lagos State has been so magnanimous in giving out direct resources to all the villages that had applied for extension. And I believe this year will not be an exception. So thank you very much. And I thank you for your audience. God bless you. God bless Lagos State.
Perhaps there are clarifications, comments, and what have
Sir, you said in your speech that from January 2014 till date, electronic certificates of occupancy have been processed. So I just want to know who
on those that have applied for collection of C of O's for over 5 years. These people have actually been issued C of O. Thank you.
Yes.
Very glad I my name. I want to look at this question if I want to please answer it. Because I believe that there are hundreds of houses in Lagos. Tell me, sir, what is your agency's good as office of general?
Electronic certificate of occupancy processed in the year is 2,230.
Is moved there or something. In essence, basically, your question is if there is going to be a overriding public acquisition for that area, what will be the fate of the residents? Just as I've identified to you, Lagos, Badagry Express, Lekki Expressway, people were living in all of these areas, and the general good was overrode the personal interests that they had in those lands. And that is the reason why we have the issues of compensations and relocation. And our compensation standards and relocation standards are at least minimum acceptable international standards. If that answers your question. Off the top of my head, the percentages of land in Lagos State, of buildings in Lagos State with certificate of occupancy, I do not have. But largely, the figure will be very low. And this is because inorganic growth in the whole entire area that you highlighted, like Mile 12, they are all under the global acquisitions, and most of the buildings are inorganic and without approval. And as such, they wouldn't ordinarily have certificates of occupancy. The Directorate of Regularization, the Land Use and Allocation Committee deal with all of these people, and bureaucracies that you highlighted have also been withered down to the barest minimum. Transactional costs have been reduced to the barest minimum. Enlightenment programs have been made to invite people to come in to regularize their title so that they can actually have bankable documents, certificate of occupancy, and call their land titles and their own, rather than continue to remain encroachers on government acquired land. Thank you.
I want to answer the issue on the Parapwa village. Parapwa village is on the international market. And I made a personal visit to this 500 landlords that you have stated. And you see, we have a responsive government in Lagos State. And the government is not it's very responsive to the yearning of these Lagos State citizens. And I'm very, very sure that with the enactment of the Department of Regularization of Land Bureau, it will be a thing of the past for them to be living as tenants in government agents, government land. I have advised them that they can have written a letter of appeal to His Excellency that His Excellency is so serious and very, very kind and accessible in terms of, listening to, he has a listening ear to Lagos State citizens, and he will, by the grace of, in fact, some of these paraphernalia units have their size, some of them have their size. They have decision. And even though they have decision, some of them will still continue to sell government land that are not there. So obviously, all these encroachers, when they built without any, CO2, they built without approval, they will be subjected to all sort of panicking and everything. But I believe that the government, the present government, and the government, the incoming government is able and is quite responsive for them to come, and we will regularize for them by the grace of God. So I believe there is no problem concerning that. But that does not mean that they continue to encroach on government land. No government will allow them to be encroaching on the land that has been protected for certain projects for the people of the state. So in terms of regularization, they can write to Department of Regularization Land Bureau, and we will do necessary things that they need to do to make sure that they live where they are. Thank you.
Before embarking on any land transaction, or if you want to submit it,
so basically, the simple answer to Mr. Leri's question is charting. You should just obtain a charting information. Mr. Larry Ludari's question is it's not a practicable one because it's not very well articulated in the sense that the situation can't present itself where you have a government-issued certificate of occupancy. The government will not come back to tell you it is government land, because to issue you a certificate of occupancy, we have presumed that we have exactly. And so I think there's, maybe we got it wrong because it's online, maybe it wasn't couched properly. But that situation can't present itself.
Thank you very much.
All of us who are here at this meeting are not forgetting the Ministry of Information and packages and the represented at the Department Secretary. Expressing this appreciation on behalf of the Land Secretary, the State, the Lands Bureau, and the Office of